Hey, Dr. Karen Can here, and I am super excited to invite TOLPAKAN healing practitioner, certified practitioner Peggy Wilhelm here for an interview because I think it's really cool to listen and hear how people have changed. And I certainly absolutely love my TOLPAKAN healing practitioners, and they've done such an amazing job with their own personal transformation. And that's one of the reasons why I'm interviewing them because I think it's so inspirational, their story. So Peggy, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Oh, I'm so pleased that you're here. And Peggy and I actually met at the Omega Institute in 2019, and she was in my Light Warrior training camp. And I really didn't know much about your past, Peggy, before I met you, and I was actually pretty shocked, I guess, when I learned about it. So maybe you can share with us, like, kind of like your before picture, like, I know you're incredibly high, high functioning and educated, and tell us about that, and then tell us what happened in your life, those challenges.
Yeah, I was a music teacher. I taught for 14 years, preschool through seniors in high school, all kinds of music. And then I moved on to being a professor of music education for about 11 years. And I also taught graduate courses in education to teachers. And it was a professional musician, a parent, an athlete. I just was
Wow.
like high functioning. And then I developed this life-threatening illness, and it was a really long journey, and it totally changed my life, and it has pulled me towards healing and to energy healing and to where I am now.
Wow. So what were you not able to do when you had this health challenge that you normally would have?
Oh my gosh, everything. I had multiple brain bleeds, like in the 20s. And every time I had a brain bleed, there was a different part of my brain that was affected. I had to learn how to walk 3 or 4 different times. I was cognitively challenged. I lost part of my vision. I was in a coma for 2.5 months. I had cancer in the middle of that, which just cracked me up, actually, because I was like, what else could there be?
Like, really? Right?
I know, right? And I was really lucky. I went to the Mayo Clinic and the National Institute of Health. I had wonderful specialists here that were really, really helpful. And then I eventually found a Eastern medicine clinic on the West Coast that was also really helpful. But really what happened was I found you, Dr. Karen, on the Spiritual Medicine Digest, and I started watching, and I was like, wow, this is really intriguing. And, along the way, like everybody who's had, these kind of journeys, you try a lot of different things, acupuncture, Reiki, all these different things. But I was really intrigued by you and your story and the method. And I saw one of your hour-long videos on the TOLPAKAN method and the many healings, and I was just totally hooked. And so I did your Synergy interview and then started level 1 healing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it sounds like you just kind of dove in. Did you feel a little nervous about, like, the challenge, like brain challenges, to be able to learn? I mean, how did you manage all of that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think if you're high functioning and then you're not high functioning, I was aware enough to know that I was not high functioning. I was aware that I couldn't drive, I couldn't read, self-care was really tricky, and my vision was really tricky. So it was all, it was a challenge. But by the time I got to level 1, I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. And because I didn't have to be present with people, I could do it on my own time when I was feeling well. It worked out really well. And by that time, I was really ready. It was in the right place.
Well, that's incredible. So I'm assuming you worked a lot on your own personal healing in level 1.
I did. I think level 1 for me on many different levels was really valuable. First of all, I could do healing on myself in a way that was just had not happened before this time. And so it was really very empowering. And the second thing was just being able to learn how to do divine muscle testing. That's just so amazing. Like there would be times before in my journey where I thought, oh, this doesn't really feel right, but like I couldn't really articulate it. And maybe because of the fear factor, I would just go ahead and do it, even though it didn't feel right. So this really gave me the confidence to say, this is the right thing for me right now. And then it also helped me reframe how I thought about life, like my beliefs, the stories that I had embraced. I love like just having this energetic appreciation and kindness for the world and healing for the world. And so that was very powerful. And then the final thing for me was when you or anybody who's out there watching this goes through a life-changing journey and you're totally stripped of your identity and who you are and your confidence, this was like a gift I could give to my family and friends. And it felt great to have a purpose again, to feel useful, to feel like there was something that you could do to make the world better. So it was really powerful.
Wow, that is a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Now, there's obviously a big difference between self-healing and then branching out to become an actual healer. So what prompted you to choose the healer path? Because, you know, you're a musician, you're an artist. I mean, you have lots of skill sets, obviously, in the past. So what prompted you to actually take TOLPAKAN healing, you know, the certification program?
I think my experience through level 1 and then being at the Omega Institute with you, just the power and the transformation that could come. I felt really stuck and I felt really helpless and powerless. And I mean, there were wonderful people who helped me along the way, but nobody could get to the bottom of what was happening. And it just was this roller coaster. You know, I'd learn how to walk and then I couldn't walk and then I would have to get up and do it again. And so for me, it's just a miracle. And I want other people to have this miracle in their life. Anything's possible. You just have to be open to it.
Oh, wow. So what quote unquote improvements or positive life changes have you experienced through what you would think is from TOLPAKAN healing itself, like tangible benefits?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the list is like this. Well, I'm walking and I'm speaking fairly well, and my cognitive abilities are better. I actually was able to go to the Omega Institute and travel. That was the first time I had done something in 12 years. And to do it on my own was really amazing. And I remember seeing you like a year ago talking about this Light Warrior Butte camp and thinking, oh, I would love to do that, but there's no way I'll be able to do it. And I did this TOLPAKAN healing for the year and I traveled by myself. And this year, my husband and I took a few vacations together. I mean, that's a miracle. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I'm just speaking is a miracle, you know. And you know, sometimes my clothes are on inside out, but eventually I get there. So
well, I have to say sometimes I do that too. So now I know that life isn't like all of a sudden rosy. I mean, there's work involved. You've been very diligent and committed, you know, in your stillness practice and doing the work for yourself. So I really like kudos to you for that. Now, we call these sometimes abundance challenges when these things come up that we prefer not to happen. But I think during this journey, I think you did have a brain bleed, right?
Yes, I've had.
Yeah, so tell us about that experience. Because that traditionally in the past has been kind of scary because you like have to walk, learn to walk again.
Yes, yes. I'm glad you brought that up because I had been in the past able to tell when an episode was coming on, and it almost always went to the brain. And since I've done TOLPAKAN, I can feel those episodes coming on and then be able to stop them. And you were very helpful with me and also really getting some specific directives to keep it from going to the brain. So actually just 2 weeks ago, I've started another one, but it's stopped. So all these episodes that before I've been in the hospital, I've been in comas, I've been in surgery. Now I'm able to use a directive and actually stop it before it gets really big.
Wow.
That's incredible because I've been everywhere, you know.
That is. Woo, I got chills just you telling that story. I'm curious what your significant other, your husband, has been thinking about all this stuff, because some of the stuff we do is pretty woo-woo. I don't know how much you tell him, but
Yeah. Oh no. Well, I didn't tell him a lot at the beginning because it is a little woo-woo, right? But I have an interesting story that I would like to share about Tolpakaning other people, and it was actually on my husband, who is a elite cross-country skier, and he developed this infection on the bottom of his foot. It was really large, full of pus, and was there for a couple months. And he went to different doctors, blah, blah, blah. And finally I said, would you like me to Topakan that? I mean, maybe I can help, right? And so he also, he was very indulgent and grateful, but also went to continue to go to doctors, and they recommended surgery and to drain the infection, and they were afraid the infection had gone onto the bone, and they were going to do surgery and take the bone out and maybe amputate his toe. And that was like, yeah, that was like, okay, Topakan me some more, and so I did, and the infection disappeared. He didn't have to have the surgery, and he's off doing all his athletic little endeavors now.
Wow, that's amazing. So literally it sounds like he was like almost hobbling around for
he could barely walk.
Months or something.
Yeah, for months. It was very traumatic for him.
Wow. Yeah. And well, I'm assuming he's very grateful for
He
your
is, it's a journey, right? Of how much we believe, but now I feel like we're totally on the same page, which is great.
That's cool. That is great. Yeah, I love that story. So what would you say would be your top 2 positive experiences in doing the level 2 program, the certification program?
Oh, that program was incredible. It's sequenced so well, Karen. And I feel like you hit all the different areas that we need to be a really successful and helpful practitioner. So we did the modalities, we did practitioner, we did marketing. For me, I loved doing the practitioner. Part of the requirement is to do 30 volunteer sessions, and it's an opportunity to practice the protocols and to practice just being organic in your session, like this is what's happening, which direction am I going to go, and an opportunity to teach, which of course is my passion. And so I love being able to be in this community and being able to teach and be able to help people with energy healing. So that was really powerful, and it was interesting to see where we were, at the beginning of the program and then where we ended up. And so that was fascinating. And then the second thing I think for me personally was to be able to go deeper into the modality, to really expand my understanding, to have a lot more depth in it. And one thing that I appreciate about you and this method is that it's continually evolving. And so you are always asking questions of source and trying to see connections between what's happening with going on in the world and what's happening with the universe. And then you're able to hand that off to us. And so I appreciate that organic, constant learning. And that was really powerful to have in this program.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you for that feedback. And I think that learning can be so challenging when you have some of the physical challenges that you've had, and you've done so well in, I guess overcoming is not the word I want to use, but almost like, using wherever you're at, just being able to absorb, assimilate, utilize, whatever it is that's coming. And I think the one thing I really appreciate about you, Peggy, is not that heart set mindset, if you will, that you have. So positive. And I don't mean positive like trying to be positive, just you're in that place of gratitude. And I could feel it like literally emanating off of you almost all the time, which is kind of rare. I mean, I don't always do that, So just given everything you've overcome, challenges in your life to be in this space now, the one thing is that every time we connect, whether it be on email or face-to-face or Zoom, whatever, I think almost the first thing out of your mouth is, I appreciate you for. I'm like, wow, she's good. And I know it's just natural for you to say that, but I was like, I'd really like to practice that to
Good.
do that. So
I
that's
have to
really
say,
cool.
thank you so much for saying that. I have to say the one thing that was challenging for me in deciding whether to do level 2 is I kept asking source, should I do level 2? And it was like, yes. And my whole body was like, oh no, you shouldn't do it, because of what you said, the cognitive and the visual challenges. And one thing that I did learn during this, and it was really because of what you say, you talk a lot about our healing is it's only limited by our creativity and asking. And so what I did during this session, and I think I shared it with you all, is that I asked for stronger and more focused cognitive abilities. Like when I first started, I could barely listen to 10 minutes of a video. And so I would have to do it in chunks throughout the day in order to assimilate it. But by the end, I could do an hour and a half. So I just kept asking what I could easily focus on and easily retain and easily assimilate. And I would have never dreamed I would have been able to do it. So I'm just grateful for that opportunity.
Wow, that is fantastic. Fantastic. Now you just mentioned about a challenge. To be perfectly, open, I would love for you to share, like, what were the most challenging aspects of the actual training program for you? Did you get triggered at all through some of that?
To say no, for me it was really just cognitively and visually being able to do the program. So it was really personal. It wasn't about the content. It wasn't about, it was really feeling like I could absorb the material and that I could be a good practitioner when I was done. It was really just a visual cognitive challenge for me.
Okay, interesting. I'd love to hear another case study of maybe a volunteer that you worked with that you felt like it went really well.
I think one person that I've worked with has a lot of anxiety. I mean, anxiety all the time. And so we've really worked on your resistant protocol and dialing that back. And I just received an email from her that just said, since we've been doing that, I don't wake up feeling like that anymore. And so that's very powerful. That was a person who had anxiety probably for years. And then of course, with everything that's going on in the world, it's even worse, right? It's magnified. And so that was really exciting.
Oh, wow, that is exciting. And I do see this more and more people, I mean, not necessarily, people that are working with us, but just, some of the people I know, my friends, that are sensitive, the anxiety is just going through the roof, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are not, I mean, there's sensitive people that it's even worse for, panic attack, anxiety, because they're feeling too much, feeling other people's stuff. And then there's like the quote unquote non-sensitives, the other, whatever,
Right.
60% of people,
Right.
65% of people who were also feeling it. So the sensitives are feeling what the non-sensitives are feeling. The non-sensitive feelings are already feeling anxious. So it just kind of compounds all of that.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Great to be able to reduce some of that, because I think anxiety promotes anxiety. So when you're around somebody who's anxious, it's just this ripple effect. So if we can be calm and grounded, we have this ripple effect to all those who are around us. And I think it goes even further than what we can even imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that. That's my experience as well. So tell us about like how, now that you're, graduated, you're certified practitioner, what's your practice going to look like? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I have. And right now it's very organic. It's had that ripple effect. I've worked with some clients consistently and it's rippled out. I think that my ideal client right now are women who feel very stuck or powerless, maybe even vulnerable. And I really want to help them be joyful and liberated and empowered and just really radiating their divine essence. And so I like the teaching along the way, that it's the energetic healing, but it's also, here are strategies that will empower you to be grounded, to be a better person, to heal yourself, to change habitual patterns that you don't like. I mean, it's just really amazing. And I really would love to work with people and go on that journey with them.
Yeah, and they're very fortunate that not only are you an amazing healer, but you have those other skill sets that you've actually been passionate about for a very, very long time. That teaching aspect, that coaching, mentoring piece, it just comes naturally to you. It doesn't come naturally to every healer, but not every healer needs to do that,
Right.
But people that want that kind of support and understanding, and I think compassion is a really big piece of what I feel for you, from you as well. So that can be super helpful, and that you're very gentle. I'm more like, okay, let's get it done. I can't be gentle. You have to think about it. But I think your communication skills and your ability to as part of the level 2 program, we have you submit a couple of recordings of the session, so I can just feel and hear and the energy and what's going on. And I just noticed with yours that you're very good at just that feedback and reassurance, and people felt really heard. And I think that in and of itself is an amazing healing for a lot of people. To feel understood, to feel heard, and to feel honored, really. And it's like, this unconditional love bubble just kind of descends on them, as you work with them. And it's awesome.
It's funny that you say that, because I think before this illness, and I've often talked to you about how I feel like this journey has been a gift. It's been such a gift, despite everything. But I used to be that type of A person. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to push through. And so I really,
it's hard to actually imagine you in that energetic space right now. Really it is.
I remember people like,
Really?
So I've really had to learn to surrender and be in the moment, and to really know that the universe has your back and things will work out.
Oh, that's beautiful. So if someone is interested in working with you, what's their first step to connect with you?
Yes, I'm setting up a discovery call. And so you can call. We have 15 minutes free time just for you to say, this is what I'm wanting to be work on. And then I'll do a mini healing, and then I'll speak about what you can expect in a program with me.
Okay, that's great. So this is a complimentary discovery call. Awesome that they can connect with you on that, and then we'll go ahead and post that link near this video, wherever we put the video. So if people want to check that out, they can go to the link. And I would love to know, just curious, I know you weren't expecting this question, but I would love to know, given your teacher hat that you are really good at, what can we expect or maybe look forward to as far as maybe group training programs or something outside of the one-on-ones, or in addition to that? Is there something you're working on in the background?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I am working on finding your voice, finding who you are, finding your purpose. And I'm working on a program that would be 9 modules to have that happen.
Ooh, that's so exciting.
It is exciting.
I look forward to hearing about that. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Fantastic, Peggy. Peggy Jo, so what is, if you had like a key piece of advice, if you will, for people on the healing journey, maybe some people are struggling with whatever's going on in their life, what would you say for you would be a key piece of advice that you've experienced yourself that you'd love to share with others?
I think to be open and be very curious, to be willing to connect with source, and then to be willing to accept.
Yeah, that surrender piece you talked about.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
It's not Pollyannish. I know it's hard to do, but if you can be in the moment and not be fighting against what's happening, and I've had my own share of fighting against what's happening, so I know it's not easy to do, but it's also a much nicer place to be in when we're surrendering.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you just feel like you are in such a place of like joy and peace right now. I mean, not just right now, but just since I've known you, really. And few people admittedly, few people that I've met can be in that space for very long. And so you're kind of like almost unflappable I mean, because everything you've gone through, it's not to say that, oh, your life was so perfect. Of course you're always happy, you know. No, it's the opposite, really. All this
Right.
really major challenging stuff. Like I can't even imagine what it's like to not be able to walk like multiple times and have to
Right.
relearn that multiple times.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
so this is like real. This is not fake, like you said, Pollyanna, you know, trying to be happy. This is like
Right.
real joy, real, you know, connection with source.
Yeah. And it's not to say it's not like just the physical challenges were really hard, but of course, anybody who's been through that knows that the mental and the spiritual challenges that go along with that are just really tricky. So
Right.
I'm sure my family would say, oh, she wasn't always positive. But I mean, I did have this resilience inside of me, and I was really lucky to have that to just say, I'm going to keep going. And I'm really grateful for that.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, because sometimes our shadow pieces, where you know we might have called ourselves either perfectionists or recovering perfectionists, or just that push through, you know, that's that's. I mean, it can be used improperly, right, and gets us sick, but which happened to me. But used in a positive way, we call that tenacity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Resilience. Yeah.
Resilience,
Yeah.
perseverance, and these are all positive traits. So some of our so-called negative traits can be turned into positive when we have the right
Absolutely.
context and self-love and all that. So wow,
Exactly.
wow. That's so inspirational, Peggy Jo. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Well,
for
thank you, Dr.
your time
Karen,
today.
for this method, for again that ripple effect of your teaching, which is so valuable, and for the organicness of your method. I'm so grateful, really.
Oh, I'm grateful for you too. Thank you so much for joining us,
You're
and
welcome.
thanks for everyone for watching. I'll post Peggy's link below. So if you need some help from Peggy and resonate with her, you can contact her for a discovery call and see if it's a good fit. So bye, everyone.
Bye.